All right, hit it.
What's up, everybody? Apologies for the technical issues. I know the live stream has been dropping out a couple times, so we're recording the rest of this locally. We've talked about the first 5 games, so Hornets, Wizards, Pacers, Pels, Magic, Bulls, Raptors, Spurs, and Hawks and Pistons. They all existed in the first video, which will be marked as part 1 on YouTube. Part 2, which you're listening to right now, will cover the rest of this slate. But we are not live right now. Apologies to everybody that's not hearing this live. I don't know why I'm saying that out loud. There's no reason to. But Lofty and I are going to finish this off.
All right, let's do it. You came in a bit choppy there on me, so let's see if we can get through it.
Did I really?
Yeah. Well. So here's the thing. Just to make it quick, we're through Atlanta and Detroit, so we'll start with Minnesota and New York.
Perfect. Knicks and Timberwolves, and keep me posted on how I sound.
I will. If it starts getting bad, I'll cut it out.
Okay. Knicks 107 implied total, Timberwolves 113, so 6-point favorites in New York. This Knicks team is just not appealing from a fantasy perspective, except what do you want to do with the Unicornet? He is 3,500 today, and he is the guy that I would like to pay down for if I have to pick somebody.
Unicornet. I like it. Cornette would literally be the only player on the Knicks that I have any interest in. I will keep it very simple. Emmanuel Mudiay is back in the mix. I do not know how that is going to, or at least I saw that he was expected to play.
I have him in.
Yeah. So with Emmanuel Mudiay back, I'm not interested in trying to figure out what the minute split is between Dennis Smith Jr. I don't feel like doing that. And the reason is not because I'm lazy, but because Dennis Smith Jr.'s price has come up enough where I don't think there's enough meat left on the bone anyway. Will they play minutes alongside each other? Yes, it would make sense for them to play minutes alongside each other. And, maybe, you see Dotson's minutes drop. Trier doesn't play as much. What's his name? The All-Star break has made it. Kadeem Allen.
Yeah.
Right. Those guys. But I don't really feel like guessing there. Smith is 7K on DraftKings and 76 on FanDuel. I just don't see the need.
No, only guy that I want is Cornette.
Yep. I'm with you.
A lot.
Right. And I'm honestly not trying to speed through this so we don't have any technical issues. There's just nothing here. Like Knox has been terrible. Yeah. His minutes have come down. If you want to say he's hit the rookie wall, fine. But whatever it is, it makes him just unplayable right now. Not really getting anywhere here. And Smith is just too much to try and guess whether or not he's going to play 25 or 32.
No, yeah. The only guy that is playable for me right now is Luke Cornette.
Yep.
And massive amounts as of right now. I've got him in for 26 minutes. If he hits that, it's a lot of Cornette.
Massive amounts is that's tough. I have him in for 25. I understand it though.
He's my anti-Bembry. I'd rather have Luke Cornette than Bembry tonight.
So would I. Not even close.
Yeah,
we'll agree on that for sure.
I think he's the only guy that I like. That's the pay down option, the value that's out there as of right now. It's basically just Cornette for me. We'll see where that moves as the day goes on.
Yep, I'm with you.
Minnesota side, Tyus Jones should be back. I assume that just removes Bayless from the equation. Towns is 10-8 on FanDuel, 10-4 on DK, $43 on Yahoo. I really like the $43 on Yahoo price, and I have no problems with the FanDuel or DK stuff. I will have Towns, but I don't have a particular stand to take with regards to the public. He just looks good.
Yeah, I have him behind Jokic and Drummond, but I still like Towns. Put it that way. I have him behind Drummond and Jokic, but I still have no problem with Towns. That's where I'm at here. Where do you have him in relation to those guys?
On DK, I have. Let's see. Where the hell is Jokic? So I would go Drummond, Towns, Jokic. Am I missing someone in that group?
No, I mean Vooch, but I have Vooch fourth for sure.
Yeah, as do I. By a lot, maybe. Can't even find his name. Yeah, he's fourth. So yeah, it's Drummond, Towns, then Jokic for me.
Okay.
Ownership will play a lot in this.
Yeah. Look, I like Towns quite a bit. He had been very disappointing leading up to the break in some really solid matchups. Like Houston was a great matchup against undersized Fareed and company. Clippers, really good matchup. Got in some foul trouble, still wasn't great, in a great spot. And then against New Orleans, another good spot, squandered that opportunity. Not too worried about that. I think he bounces back fine here. In terms of just raw projected fantasy points, I have Jokic, Towns, Drummond, but I just like Drummond more because you're getting a huge discount on him. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
so there's that. And
Uh,
I
yeah, go
know
ahead.
Teague's gonna be popular, and I know Tyus Jones is back, but that doesn't make a big difference for me. There's so many ways that Teague still gets 35 minutes here. Sub 6K, Jeff Teague against the Knicks on DraftKings. He's 71 on FanDuel. Sub 6K Jeff Teague to me is still very, very reasonable.
Yeah, he's the only other guy that really grades out for me. I know he's a little chalky, but at 5,900, I don't have a problem with it. I might look to just get a couple of guys otherwise in that price range, but I understand why he's going to get some ownership, and I don't have. I
Right.
will also have some ownership.
Yeah. That that's what it comes down to. What was that?
That was you, right?
No. That was someone must have just jumped in and then jumped out. Wasn't me. I don't have anyone in my house. I got my dog here.
Yeah, it was in my ear, so that's why I assumed it was you.
Yeah, it's in my ear too. That's kind of creepy, huh?
Yeah, Adam, what are you doing?
Yeah, I have no idea, but that was strange.
um, yeah, that's. I mean, a little bit of Wiggins, I think, is okay. A little bit of Rose for 5,600 on FanDuel, I think, is okay. But really, the star of the show here is Towns, and then to a lesser extent,
Yeah.
Teague. My connection be okay so far?
It, it's very, very manageable. Like you're all right.
Okay.
A couple spots where it's chopped, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to dig into the
We'll
settings
make it.
on all of my new stuff here and figure out what's going on. Moving on.
That's all I have for that game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. Memphis Grizzlies hosting the Los Angeles Clippers. 106.25 implied total for the Grizz. 107.75 for the Clippers. If it wasn't for people being out for Memphis, this would be the least appealing game of fantasy. I literally
Yeah.
don't have anyone on the Clippers. So let's start there. This is a pace down spot for them. Terrible implied total. Do you like anything from LA?
No, the only player if you wanted to make an argument for, you know how I feel about Gallinari, by the way. I just didn't believe that Harris being out would improve his usage enough, and so far, I think I think that's been accurate.
Yeah.
Um, when he has high efficiency games, you'll get decent numbers from him, but mind you, he's still taking 8 to 10 shots. Like, I don't really have much intention of paying 7K for a guy that needs to shoot 8 for 10 to be good enough, right? Uh, Landry Shamet's going to start, and he's probably going to play 28, 29 minutes. So that would really be the only guy. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not very interested. Actually, I have him projected at 30 minutes right now. And even in 30 minutes, I don't have him as a great value. But I just wanted to throw that out there because had it not been for that blowout last game, he would have played significantly more minutes. And I think probably gotten up to, God, he's playing a lot of minutes right now. It's just low shot volume. Another guy that needs to shoot well in order to give you even a fighting chance at paying off that price point. Against Memphis, I'll probably pass. So nothing on this game. I'm with you.
I have nothing for the Clippers. Now, the Memphis side we need to talk about, unfortunately.
We do. Maybe
Chandler-
Zubats isn't the craziest play just because of what they've got working in that front court. But
Sure.
even so.
Okay. Let's start with Mike Conley. 7,800 on FanDuel, 7,600 on DK, 27 on Yahoo. I've been playing 34 minutes at that point in time. He looks like a really nice play on FanDuel and perfectly fine on DK.
Yeah, well rested.
Yeah.
Point guard's a little bit more shallower than it's been. Actually, a lot shallower in the mid range than it's been pretty much all season long. I don't have an issue with Conley. I guess I haven't projected at 31 minutes, but that's probably why he's not popping. If I were to project Conley at 34 minutes, then he would become a much, much better play here.
Okay. That might be something I need to look into then too. All right, we've got Chandler Parsons back. How much do you think he plays? We'll start there. I have him at
I don't
8, and I can build that up to whatever.
Yeah, don't know, don't care.
Yeah, well, I care in that I don't know what to do with Ivan Robb, who's at 41% ownership on FanDuel and 11 on DK. Nope,
Right.
that's Noah. He's at 0 on DK because he's 5,600.
Who is?
Rob.
Okay. I so okay. This is why I said, which you've heard in part one. I think the Jaren Jackson news is massive,
Yes.
and this is why I think it's so big, because we have seen Ivan Robb and Joakim Noah play alongside each other
Oh.
in spots, so that is actually possible. Is it smart for Bickerstaff to do that against the Clippers? No, but I mean, what are they really playing for? I'm not sure. Matchups is the biggest of their worries right now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen in some spots just to get bodies out on the floor. I don't know. If Parsons plays 12 minutes or so, uh, Ivan Robb's minutes went through the floor when Joval was in. So I guess you probably look at it this way. If you take Noah's minutes, how many do you have him at?
22.
You have him at 22? Okay. I think I have him at 20. Let me check. I have him at 20. And then I have Ivan Robb at 22, only 22, which I guess makes a little bit of sense. If Jackson's out, though, I would probably bump Robb up to like 28.
I would agree with you there.
So this is big news. This is really big news. And by the way, I do still have some interest in Joakim Noah, but you're going to get. I mean, okay, so what do we have? 11% projected ownership on DraftKings and on FanDuel.
I would much
Very.
rather have Luke Cornett.
Did you say? Oh wait, Noah is Joakim Noah on FanDuel?
He's 4K on FanDuel, 13% ownership.
13%. Okay, yeah, sounds about right. You'd rather have Cornett, you said? Yeah. If Jackson's out, I would much rather have Noah, though, honestly.
Agreed. Well, maybe not much rather, but I will end up with a lot of Noah if Jackson ends up out.
Right. So that, to me, like, we can't even really speak on it much further. If Noah's out, or if Jackson's out, everything changes. Rob becomes more viable, and Noah becomes very viable.
I won't have much interest in Rob on DraftKings one way or the other since he's 5,600.
I would agree with that.
On FanDuel, he becomes probably, he's already the best play in terms of ownership, but he will be the clear chalk play of FanDuel if Jaren Jackson gets ruled out.
Correct. Yeah. So just pay close attention, because that's gonna make a massive difference. But I give Rob around 20. No, I you know what? That's a lie. If Noah, or if Jackson is out, I will have interest in Rob on DraftKings. I will.
Okay.
I will, because it is a very good front court matchup. It is a pace up spot. 28, 30 minutes from Ivan Robb, I think would probably be would get the job done. He's like a 1.01, 1.02 fantasy point per minute guy in this spot. I think he could absolutely get you there. Yeah. So, and I think he'll play minutes alongside Noah, which makes a big difference to me.
Yeah. Yeah, everything hinges on Jaren Jackson. If Jackson is in, Rob on FanDuel is really the only place I want to go with any sort of volume.
Okay. Yeah.
DeLon Wright, 23% ownership on DK right now.
DeLon, yeah, I know. That's exactly who I was just about to ask you about. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, I don't agree with it.
Really wild. He is, however, so last game, let me make sure I had this pulled up right. Okay, so last game, played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold on, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 minutes alongside Conley. That's pretty interesting. And Conley played only 25 minutes. So you might look at it and be like, well, yeah, Wright played more minutes because Conley only played that many minutes. No, they played 10 minutes together, which is pretty interesting.
Would you rather have DeLon Wright at 23% ownership or Avery Bradley at 2?
Oh, jeez, dude. Really? I mean, I'd rather have Avery Bradley. I don't
Yeah.
think there's any.
I have them as equals for this game.
Avery Bradley is a heinous fantasy play on most nights, but no, I'd rather give DeLon Wright could so easily destroy you, and every minute that he plays alongside Conley, he's actually less valuable.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that more minutes means he's less valuable, but you get what I'm saying. You know, if you're playing a lot of minutes alongside Conley, you're playing off the ball a whole lot more. Yeah, you know what? I think that's actually a very reasonable question. Give me the completely unowned Avery Bradley, who probably gets probably gets 30 minutes again.
Yeah, that's what I have him in for. And if he's not owned and DeLon Wright is at 23%, that
I'm
is a
cool with
very,
it.
very, very easy pivot for you.
I'm good with it.
All right, 2 games left.
Bang him out.
The Dallas Mavericks hosting the Denver Nuggets. 107.75 implied total for Dallas, 111.25 for the Nuggets. Not a really appealing fantasy game. We'll start on the Dallas side. Luka is 10K on FanDuel, 9,100 on DK, 40 on Yahoo. Whatever Luka I get, I'll be happy with it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. He's owned right around where I think he should be. He's fine.
I'm in exactly the same spot. I'm in exactly the same spot. There's nothing that has me ultra excited about him, but I don't dislike Doncic because even when you look at his last 3 games, he's been mildly disappointing, but he's still averaging like 10 rebounds and 8 assists over those games.
Yeah.
Right? He has.
I assume the break will have done him well as well.
You would think so, yeah. Immense upside. 35, 36 minutes if this game is close.
Yep.
Dallas, a much better team at home. They're only 3.5-point dogs. Not the fastest paced game, but surprisingly a 223 total, which isn't bad. Look, I don't have any issues with Doncic, but like you said, you end up on him, you get some Doncic, yes. Especially being that, is he like I'll tell you, I do like Doncic over Bradley Beal on DraftKings, where they're basically $100 separated. Unfortunately, they don't have the same eligibility, which is insane. Insane.
I would rather have Beal than Doncic.
I mean, that's fair. I just think
only
that,
because of ownership. I have them basically equal. They're within a point of each other. But Luka has twice as much ownership right now on DK.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
they're basically the same for me.
Aside from that, like Finney Smith right now is coming in with 20% ownership.
Get that DFS chalk.
Yeah, that's something else, isn't it? I mean, God, he'll get the minutes, but boy, he is just so ineffective.
Another guy I would greatly prefer Luke Cornett to.
Well, yeah, me too. Do what you want with him. Do what you want with Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber. Like these guys, honestly, in the extended opportunity they've had since the deadline, all of them have disappointed.
Yes, they have.
All of them.
Yeah, I'll have a little bit of Powell. It'll be less than the public. I'll have a little bit of DFS, way less than the public. I don't mind Tim Hardaway for 5,100.
He's fine, but he's also wildly disappointed.
Yeah. But if I'm going to get disappointed by one of these Mavericks, I'd rather get disappointed by the guy that's barely owned.
Yeah, and I'll take the second highest usage player on the team, too.
Yep.
That's it. I really don't have anything else for Dallas, and I don't know if anybody else should. It's ugly, man. It's really ugly.
What in the world do we do with a Denver team that now has Gary Harris back?
Yeah, Jokic against Kleber and Powell. I mean, it is a really favorable spot.
It is.
The pace of this game, again, maybe not great, but I just don't. and it's funny, like since the deadline, Dallas has been pretty good actually against centers, but I just don't see how that's sustainable.
No.
To me, it doesn't make very much sense.
Nope.
I do like Jokic a lot here, but then outside of Jokic, I okay. So, for example, Paul Millsap's 4,600 on DraftKings
Yeah. No Trey Lyles.
with no Trey Lyles. I'm not a big fan of Millsap's fantasy game at this stage of his career, but I definitely have interest in Paul Millsap.
I agree.
And I think something that people probably overlook once in a while because he just isn't a big fantasy point per game guy. Meaning, like you look at his per game numbers and like, oh, that's not that great, but he still is a 1 point. He's still 1.08 fantasy point per minute guy. Like he's still a +1 per minute guy.
Yeah.
So
He's good. He's not he's a jack of all trades, master of none type dude.
yep, that's funny you said. I've always labeled him that exact same way. That's kind of even in his best days, he could do everything well, but not anything particularly great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
4,600 is a no-brainer. He should see a couple extra minutes because of Lyles being out.
right. And you ask about what do we do now that Harris is back? I just really don't have an issue fading the backcourt and the wing positions. Like Barton, even with the minutes, has really been he's been rough, man. And
Yeah. It's
uh,
hard to prioritize Barton, Harris, Beasley, Morris, Isaiah Thomas, Torrey Craig. I think it's just easier
yeah.
to ignore all of these
Well,
guys.
what about Murray?
Only guy that I don't have a problem with. 6,600 on FanDuel, less than 10% ownership. 63 on DK, just 6% ownership. I like the idea
Right.
of taking a chance there in tournaments. I'm
Yeah,
not
you need him
comfortable
to
with
get
him,
hot.
but it's a perfect tournament play at a low ownership number.
Yep. You need him to get hot, and if he does, you're good. But
Yeah.
if not, you're finishing with like 25 fantasy points.
Indeed. Indeed.
Let's close it out.
Alrighty. Oklahoma City Thunder hosting the Utah Jazz. 114.25 implied total for the Thunder, 110.75 for the Jazz. So 3.5-point favorites for OKC. Tough matchup for them for sure. Nice pace up spot for Utah, but otherwise, I'm a little nervous here. Russell
I want to
Westbrook.
know where you're at
Yeah,
on
go ahead.
Westbrook, and I want to know where you're at on Westbrook and George because I'm I'm having a difficult time really liking them.
I don't like them on DraftKings. I like them much more on FanDuel, where you have to start a point guard or 2 point guards and have to start two small forwards. On
Yeah.
DK, I can just spend my money better.
Yep, makes a lot more sense that way. Uh, like I would I rather play Westbrook and a 9K guy or two 10K centers on DraftKings. I think I'd rather play the two guys on draft. I mean, whenever Westbrook and Paul George are playing, regardless of matchup, they still have very very high ceilings.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking that away from them at all. But it's man, it's I think we're in the same position. Utah's pace of play hasn't been terrible. They're right around the middle of the league over the last 2 months. They have the second best defensive rating though, and they are a good defensive squad. So uh, Westbrook will find ways to get it done just he's from a volume standpoint. But do you need to pay 11.5 on DraftKings for him? Is the real question here. I don't think you do.
I ran a 200 lineup crunch before we started this show, and I did not get Russell Westbrook in a single lineup.
That's wild.
Yeah. And that's with pretty heavy randomness on, too.
Really?
He's played 2 games against Utah this year, went for 39 and 45, which is certainly not going to cut it at 11.5. He went
Look what his
7 for 35.
Yep. So that's what I was saying. Look what his shooting is. 0 for 9 from 3-point range.
Yeah. And you don't expect him to go 7 for 35 from the field, but that 3-point shooting is not that far off from where he's actually at 24% shooter or whatever he is.
Yeah. And really it just comes down to okay, are we going to look at 2 Utah games and make our decision based on that?
No.
Of course not. But it's also not. This isn't like, man, his last 2 games against Atlanta have been really bad. Fade him. No, his last 2 games against Utah have been really bad, but it's also just not a good matchup.
Exactly. If he's 17% owned, I am very happy having fucking 0.
I was surprised that he was that high.
Yeah. And then Paul George at 11% on DK, 10% on FanDuel. I'll have a little bit of George, but again, I'm not going to have any sort of volume. I just like other guys at slightly cheaper price tags, and this is the least. Like, you need everything to go right to just be solid. And I think that some of George's recent history is a little unsustainable. I can't remember if I was listening to the Dunked On podcast or Zach Lowe or something. I think it was Lowe. And he mentioned that Paul George is shooting some sort of like, there goes Laffy. I assume that was intentional. Laffy, get back here. I'm waiting on you, dude. Spinning connection. I think this one's actually you. Oh, maybe it's me. Losing Laffy. Losing Laffy. What are you doing, wife? Laffy, where are you at? Losing Laffy here. There we go.
That was weird.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I never lost connection or anything on that one.
It said your network is blocking the connection. Try again. This might be the Appearing app that's been doing this to us.
Yeah. I just sat here and continued mildly talking. So I know that I was talking about Paul George, and I think that it was Zach Lowe. I didn't finish that point. He's shooting like 46% from three with dudes in his face.
Which that's crazy.
Like, yeah, it's a super unsustainable rate of like 3-point shooting with guys close. So that's normally a rate where you get from like catch and shoot with nobody around you, and he's getting it with dudes in his grill. So I'm not totally sold on like 45% 3-point shooting continuing. And if that's the case, then I think that Paul George is just mildly overpriced. So I get it. He's been fantastic. My number 3 in the MVP race right now. But when it comes to having to pay 11.8 on FanDuel or 10.8 on DK, I just really can't advocate for it today. Not in this spot.
Yeah, I can tell you right now. Let's see. Paul George, 33% from 3-point range with defender for 0 to 2 feet. That's very tight.
Yeah,
and that's pretty damn good. That's about 2 of those attempts per game. If you were to bring it out to tight for 2 to 4 feet, Paul George is at 48%. That's probably the one you're talking about.
Yep.
And that's on 8 attempts per game.
Yeah.
Only like 5-6 players have more of those attempts. Or actually, let's see. Paul George, yeah, that's pretty wild. 3-point, 48%. It is one of the highest in the league.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild. And then field goals.
It's tough to sustain that sort of nuclear shooting with a good team, like with guys on you.
Oh yeah, a field goal percentage in general with tight defense is like 56%.
Yeah,
which
that'll
is
do
pretty high as well.
So yeah, not much Russ for me, not much Paul George, and by not much I mean basically none on DK. I have no interest in Adams, no interest in Grant, no interest in Schroeder. I don't think that Markieff Morris is going to be relevant for today, so I basically don't care for Oklahoma City.
No, me neither. Kind of similar to the Clippers.
Yeah,
like not a whole lot that stands out there. I will say on the other end though, I don't think it's. Oh, now Karl Anthony Towns is questionable. Sweet.
Cool.
If he's out, Gorgie Jang is your guy. So.
No, he's out.
Oh, that's right.
Fire up your Anthony Tolliver shares and your Dario Saric at the 5 game.
That's right. He's out for what? Personal reasons.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
Taj Gibson becomes a smash then.
Gibson and Saric because they're
Yeah.
both going to play monster minutes.
Same for Tolliver. He probably has. I mean, Luol Deng at the 4 probably becomes a thing. Minnesota also becomes really shitty.
Yeah.
But they're playing the Knicks, so you can only get so shitty.
Yeah, but also don't forget that Wiggins and Teague and maybe even Rose become more appealing because you're taking a huge usage out of there.
Honestly, I hope the Towns is out.
That would spice this up a little bit, man.
Yeah, Teague and Wiggins and Rose all become interesting. Saric becomes super interesting. Gibson at 3,800 on both sites becomes one of the better punt plays of the day.
No, he becomes the best punt play of the day, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I mean, here's my thing. How many minutes are you really going to give Tolliver at the 5 against DeAndre Jordan?
Not many.
Even against Mitchell Robinson. Like, yes, I get it. You know, Tolliver can range out and jack up a couple of 3-pointers, but they will get destroyed on the boards. They will not be able to grab a defensive rebound.
No, Taj is going to need to play 32, 34 minutes.
You would think so, right?
Just massive.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that news, people.
And if that's the case, Saric probably plays 35, 36.
Yep.
All right. Well, at least we got that during the show.
Yeah,
sometimes
for sure.
Technical difficulties make it easier, so we can stretch it out a bit. I just wanted to say that we were talking about the ownership earlier on the 5K, the high 5K point guards. The more I look at it, the more I actually might have some interest in Rubio. Big time pace up spot here. Yeah, defensively, it's a defensive matchup. It's not great, but I'm not totally opposed to this. By the way, OKC's defense has stumbled a bit over the past couple of months, but they are also playing at the fastest pace in the league since the start of January. I actually have some interest in Ricky Rubio here, around 10% ownership, projected at least, not expensive. Once in a while, he has those blow up games where no one touches him, and I think this could be one of those pretty good spots for him.
He grades out really well, better than anybody else for me relative to public. 6,400 on FanDuel looks nice. 5,800 on DK is good as well. I like Gobert. I like Mitchell. I like Ingles. These are guys. I'm going to have a little bit more Utah than I would have ever expected.
I have such a tough time getting to Donovan Mitchell in most cases.
So do I.
Like he rarely gets there at this price.
I rather feel like he should though.
Rather just play DeRozan.
So would I. At least on DK.
Yeah. Now, granted, Donovan Mitchell's 4% projected ownership, but DeRozan at 10% on DraftKings is also egregiously low. So
I think that's it.
I think that'll do it. Well, we got through it. Wasn't always easy, but
we've got one more thing to do.
Oh, that's right. Shoot.
Thrive fantasy props, everybody. If you go to bit.ly/Awesemo, you can get a deposit bonus playing on Thrive. I've got my props here. I'll get the list up in front of me, and then we'll bounce a couple off of each other and figure out what we like today.
Let's do it.
So, first one up on the list.
I love the generic players that they have on the homepage.
First guy up. This should be a fun one. Anthony Davis. The over-under is 22.5 points, and you get 95 points if you take the over. I am mashing the under here.
Yeah, I don't see how you could mash the over on this.
No, I've got him at 19.1.
So, like yesterday, I've had a pretty nice bet. I bet first half Kings to win outright plus 350. That paid out nicely. The reason I did that, but there's reason for that, right? Warriors let teams hang around in the first half. Kings have actually played them really tight. I think they've lost all 4 games against them this year by a total margin of 12 points. There are, and I have a point of this. It's not bragging that I want to bet. That would be silly, but it was a nice bet. The reason I bring this up is because there's actual like rationale behind that. And then the Warriors, generally speaking, in the second half at home, they're the best third quarter team at home in the entire league by a wide margin. With Anthony Davis, how do you justify the 22 points in this game in 25 minutes? Not saying that he can't do it, but he seemed so unmotivated to do it, Josh, that that adds to the problem. So 25 minutes for a guy that probably isn't jacking up 20 shots in 20 minutes or even 15, I can't get there.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's not possible for me right now.
What else you got, sir?
Alrighty, we've got LaMarcus Aldridge, 30.5 points plus rebounds. And you get 110 points if you take the over. And this is one that I'm probably going to not do, even though I would take the over.
I don't feel that comfortable about it. I think this line's a little too sharp, honestly.
I agree. I would just defer on this one because I think the line is pretty good.
30.5. If forced, I'd go with the over, but not huge on this at all. At all.
Sorry, talking to someone quickly. All right. Kyle Lowry. This one's interesting. Kyle Lowry. Same total as LaMarcus Aldridge, 30.5, but it's points, rebounds, and assists. You get 105 points for the over. And I am taking the under with reckless abandon.
So it's 30 and a half? Is that what you said?
It is 30 and a half.
Yeah. I don't know how you get there. I have a tough time getting there. Definitely have a tough time getting there.
Okay. I'm going to very easily take the under on Kyle Lowry. Two more. We're not going to do Karl Towns because that one's useless. Luka Doncic. 22.5 points. And you get 95 for the over.
Give me the over.
Yeah, I'm taking the over as well. I get it to 25. It might not. It would be one of the last 10 props that I would do. But
yeah, I don't hate that.
It.
I don't hate that.
Okay. And then finally, closing it out, we'll go with. All right, here it is. Russell Westbrook, total rebounds, 9.5. But you only get 90 points for the over.
Yeah, I still can't, like, the guy has 11 straight triple doubles.
Yeah, I've got him projected for 11.2, so pretty clearly taking it.
You just look at his rebounding totals recently, 17, 13, 14, 12, 12, and these are against some slow-paced teams, 15, 13, 12, 14, 14. So you're giving me 9.5? I don't care who it's against. Yeah, I got to take the over there.
There we go, everybody. Thrive props. Go to bit.ly/Awesemo if you want to sign up for Thrive. Use the promo code NBA Strategy if you want to sign up at awesemo.com for 50% off your first month with us. We will have Adam writing the deep dive early this afternoon. He will be back for the deeper dive starting at 4:45 since we have a big slate. And then at 6 o'clock, Fast Eddie Fear and Chris Baggs will take you all the way up until lock. Laffy, anything else?
That'll do it, man.
All right.
We got through it.
This is part 2, everybody. Check out part 1 if you're looking for the rest of this show. Apologies for the technical issues. We're going to get out of here so that I can get this stuff uploaded for you guys. Best of luck today.